Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, August 7th, 2013 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. First item on the agenda is, and I know most of you are here for this, it's a request for continuance under a notice of intent, 123 Highland Avenue, Realty Trust, care of Susan Newt, trustee, 123 Highland Avenue, lots 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 27. And Highland Avenue, west of Arlington Street, North Falmouth, for permission to construct a duplex house with 2 dwelling units and maintain 1 dwelling pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, with garage decks to connect to town sewer and to construct new water service to abutting residential lots along Highland Avenue and the duplex house, to construct a gravel drive and parking area, gravel driveway on Glen Avenue, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until August 21st.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the table. Are there any questions on the board? Are there any questions from the audience?
What does that mean?
Okay, so Jen, well, that's what I'm gonna, whoever just called that out. Jen, would you
It
explain?
just says, to whom it may concern, due to a scheduling conflict, we will be unable to attend the public hearing scheduled for tonight. We hereby request a continuance till August 21st, which means that the public hearing will be held on August 21st, excuse me.
You denied it?
Sir, you,
Yeah. My name is Joe Keenan, I live on Silver Beach Ave. Can you deny the continuance? I mean, they came here with this dog and pony show at the last meeting. We're all here.
right,
Can you
well,
deny it?
I'm actually gonna tell you why. Jen called me today, and if you remember in the last hearing, I said you have 3 weeks. I want to see that you filed with CBA. You're supposed to have filed today with CBA, and they haven't filed yet with CBA.
So, and, you know, we're the citizens of Falmouth, the neighbors.
Right.
And they're operating like this, and you expect them to actually do a good job on that lot? Think about it.
Sir, I really can't answer that question.
I'll answer it for you.
But they are supposed to file both with us and with CBA, and they have not filed yet with CBA. And when Jen said, are you comfortable with hearing that? I'm not really comfortable. They're supposed to file with CBA.
Is there a time limit when they have to?
If you want to ask a question, please come up to the
Charlie?
podium and identify yourself, okay, for the
Charlie?
record.
So given that procedural
You
error,
have to tell us who, I know.
Charles
I know who you are.
McCaffrey, Glen Avenue, North Falmouth. Since they did not comply with the procedures, does the hearing begin again, and was that a null hearing of no, do they have to
No.
start over from,
No. Once they start, then
but if it was
There's a
not, if
continuance
it was
until
not
we
validly
close it.
before you, should they not have to start over?
Well, if,
well, they could start over, they could present it again. They do, as you
could.
remember, in the last hearing, several of the people on the board asked for specific information, which some of that information about the technical aspects, what the cross-section of the road is gonna look like, came in. But frankly, I'm reluctant to hear it, because if it's not allowed under a 40B, we would have to hear it under the local regulations, which is a whole, a whole different set, a much stricter set of regulations. But it's not fair for us to have to go through that, or for you, if it's gonna be a moot point. So it's supposed to be heard on the 21st. What I suggest is you call on the day of the 21st, because Jen will have known by then whether they have filed. That gives them an additional 2 weeks to file.
Do we call this telephone number that's on this paper?
Ma'am, well, I can answer that. You don't have to tell us who you are to ask that.
Oh,
Yes, that's the
if
telephone
I
number.
called the town hall 2 different numbers today, and I knew nothing about this meeting.
Yeah, what you have to do is, well, town hall should know that somebody who answered the phone in town hall should know that there's a Conservation Commission meeting and that the Conservation Department would know the answer. I'm sorry for that.
Madam Chair, if I may, to address, we'll get to you in a moment, sir, just to put some people at ease here, this process is not unusual. There are continuances granted all the time. In earlier conversation with some of the people in the audience, I recognize that a lot of summer residences are here only for a allotted time. And I want to assure you that I am very cognizant of that, all right, as other board members are as well. I don't think this is a shell game at this point in time. It's procedural. They needed to comply with the ZBA filing. They didn't do that today. Today was the deadline on that. So this way, we have an option, and it is pushing it ahead 2 weeks. But if in that time, the continuance at the next August 21st, we are aware of when foot dragging is being done and things like that. We can be just as suspect of things as anyone else. So take this with a grain of salt that it's being done for 2 weeks so that they can have one more duck in a row. And if it isn't in the row in 2 weeks, I can tell you that I'm certainly going to be not in a very pleasant mind. So I'm grateful that all of you are here. If you all signed the same letter and, you know, all the other concerns that some of the audience had, if you put this kind of horsepower, this is a community thing right here. This is very powerful. And, you know, don't let go of that. I know that you all have limited time here, but if you put this in front of the ZBA, it's going to be recognized. If you put this in front of the people that run the sewer, as a lot of the questions that you've raised earlier, if you have this many people asking the same question, you're going to get answers, right? And a lot of these answers I cannot give you. The conservation issues, more than happy to deal with them, and we can, but we need a couple more ducks in a row so that we don't have something backlash on us. And I hope that kind of settles some of the issues that you have.
And I might also point out that if you remember last time, you raised a number of questions that are appropriate to ask at ZBA. So please keep those in mind when there is a hearing. Sir. Oh, sir, actually, I just called on him. Just sit in front, I'll call on you next.
Thank you. John Belskis from Western Avenue in North Falmouth. I don't know if you received my correspondence that I mailed earlier this week? No?
Sir?
I mailed some correspondence early in the week, actually over the weekend. I don't know if you've received it. It has a number of issues that I just want to be sure you were made aware of.
Most of us,
You have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, we can only take comments relevant to the continuance?
Oh, okay, because my question was, will the continuance continue looking at it as a 40B?
Right now it will,
Why?
because that's how it's filed.
because
Pardon?
that's how it's been filed.
But it's not a 40B. There's no record anywhere of the thing coming up for 40B appearance. Matter of fact, your town and your selectmen have to submit the request for a 40B, not the developer, because it's a, it's a locally initiated project.
Didn't
Not the
the,
developer,
Sir,
it's the
that is
town
why-
that has to.
Mr. Velkus, that is why we have asked them to file with the zoning board of appeals simultaneously with us, which hasn't been done, which is why this hearing is being continued.
I mean, by regulation,
We
the
understand that.
40B has to come from your Board of Selectmen, and your chairman of your Board of Selectmen has to accept it. At that point in time, you could hear it as a 40B, but until that time, you shouldn't be hearing it as a 40B.
That's why we're asking them to, we're granting the continuance, so that process can be completed.
Okay. There's other issues, I won't tie you up because I'm sure you have other things to do, but if you read my correspondence, there's some serious questions about meetings, public meetings that would be held in regards to the sewerage situation. And, you keep dropping these public meetings, you're all gonna wind up hearing from somebody in the Attorney General's office about violating open meeting law.
Sir, our job is for the conservation issues. We are holding a public meeting that we've advertised properly.
This one is fine.
Well, I really can't respond for other, I can tell you that I do know a number of people in town, and a number of people who answer the telephone. Sometimes it's not a regular person, and they might not know the answer. So, I apologize that you had to come. Well, I don't know, I'm sorry you didn't get the answer, but now you have the conservation number.
Yeah, my only point was it shouldn't be held as a 40B until those hurdles are.
Well, that's what we said last week, that's why I wanted to know.
That's what we're trying to accomplish, sir.
Pardon?
That's
That's
why I
what we're trying
wanted
to
to know
accomplish.
that it was filed with the ZBA.
Yes,
So you want the 21st?
Right.
yep.
Sir,
Gordon McRae, 115 Highland Ave. I'm just curious, if they do file the ZBA, could it possibly go in front of the ZBA before the next meeting?
no, they wouldn't have, there wouldn't be time.
All right, thank you.
For that.
One other thing, as an abutter, would I be notified about the ZBA?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know what the abutter notification requirements are, but
By regulation, yes.
yes.
Well,
I just
we're
don't
at the-
know the
we're
square
at-
footage where ours
at the
is
next
100 feet
meeting
off the project.
on the 21st, Jen will know whether it's been filed with the ZBA, and perhaps it will have been scheduled at that point.
Okay, but there's no way that it could be possibly filed with the ZBA and acted on before this next meeting?
No.
All right, thank you.
No. And partly of that is the requirements for the open meeting law for a week advertising. Sir?
Robert Seffioli, 51 Weston Ave. I just have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Can you guys challenge this 40B regulation in any way?
The 40B regulation, as this gentleman said, goes through the selectmen. And so if something is declared, and the selectmen did take a vote to apply. If something is declared a 40B, then we can just.
Okay, and one
You're
other quick
under the
question
state.
is, have any of you people gone out to the site yet to see how many trees are gonna be taken
Yeah, a number of us have gone to
taken
the
down
site.
and about the grade and all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, that's all I gotta ask.
We've looked at the trees, we've looked at the wetland, we've looked at
Road.
the pump station. We've looked at all of those things, and a number of us, because this is kind of what you're keyed into doing, reviewed the plans in our minds under both the state and the local. But in fact, if it's declared a 40B, it's out of our hands. I mean, that's what a 40B is. It's exempt from, are you the gentleman who, or tried to appeal, or you? You're the gentleman who tried to get rid of 40B. And to have the state have a different strategy for affordable housing.
More people are interested than we expose some of the problems.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially in town. Okay, so, there's a vote and a second on the table to continue this to August 21st. Are there any other questions on the board? Are there any other questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Joe Celia, 95 Glen. Just a real quick question. At the last meeting, the Falmouth engineer was going to come up with specs. I'm just asking, did those specs come in? And is there a way of seeing them? It's possible for the continuance, but I'm really looking at, again, to the trees. He said only one tree would go down, and I find that highly unlikely if you've been out to the site for the road extension.
For the road extension.
Yeah, you know, kind of looking at what is their plans truly of how many trees and are they marked?
Yeah, I
There was
actually.
a revised plan submitted, and you can review it at the office.
Yeah, there is, yeah, and I was gonna
I just
say,
want to know if they submitted that.
yeah, I actually didn't look in detail because I knew we weren't gonna have it.
I just like,
Yeah. Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table to continue with this till the 21st of August. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Look forward to seeing you all again in 2 weeks.
We'll be here.
It's a beautiful evening, and it's a beautiful Main Street. Stroll and enjoy it.
I have a funny feeling, just call my office. Not a problem.
yeah, not us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Our rule of thumb is, what is it, Jen? 2 continuances, right? And then we say, no.
Right.
Yeah, if people have a hearing and they're still, you know, they're open their hearing and they're still unresolved issues, it may take a few more. But if they just don't come because they haven't done what they were supposed to do. Yeah, we don't, we have finite limits also. Okay, next on the agenda is minutes. The minutes of the 17th just came, I haven't looked at them.
We accepted those
That was last week. That was my fault. I forgot to cross them off on the agenda, Madam Chairman. So, those are done. We're
Those
good.
are both done, and today's aren't listed, and we haven't had time to read them. But I see that it's a nice thick set of minutes, so something to look forward to.
The 31st.
Yes, the 31st.
It's nice and thick.
It's nice and thick. Okay, request for determination of applicability. To determine whether the proposed work will remove, dredge, fill, build upon, degrade, or otherwise alter an area subject to protection.
I think I make about 250.
First applicant, Wendy Nicodemus, 7, did I pronounce it correctly? Incorrect. Okay, 7 Compass Circle, East Falmouth, for permission to expand the existing dock. Sir?
Deck, Madam
Jen?
Chairman.
Deck, sorry.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project. We are recommending a -2 under the bylaw and a -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries now confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, do you know what that means? Do you know what a negative determination means?
Yes,
That means you can go ahead.
yes.
Okay, would you like to speak?
No, I was here in case you needed paperwork or anything.
Oh, okay.
I was supposed to send something to DEP, and they needed a record of it, I did.
I'll take the green card, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have a motion and a
Thank you
second on the
very much.
table
Good luck with your project, sir.
to accept staff's recommendation, which is a negative determination, which means the applicant can go ahead and do what
They've
the
requested to
applicant
do.
proposes to do. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Come back on the 21st.
You're certainly welcome to come back.
I'm here. I've served 20 years on Conservation Commission, 20 years on Planning Board in different towns.
Oh,
He's put in his, he doesn't want.
you're
still
still
welcome to come back.
welcome. Green Pond Marina Associates, 74 Green Pond Road, East Falmouth, for permission to install a pressure wash water recycling system that includes installation of a new vessel wash water recycling tank with filtration pump, an additional trench drain to capture stormwater, regrading existing pad to direct water to recycling tank and to deposit new crushed shells in a parking area depression. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until August 28th.
So moved.
They're here.
We don't understand, what, we didn't
Who?
We were speaking with your engineer.
I'm the engineer. Jason Whitney, you were speaking with?
We left, Ms. Whitney, we left a message with your office today.
Jason Whitney wasn't in the office today, and I'm the engineer that's speaking, so we're kind of confused. We could have possibly continued.
Alex Patterson.
Oh, Alex is the wetland scientist. Can we present anyway? Because we're here. Do we have to continue?
Wait a second.
You may present the reason we asked. We contacted Mr. Patterson as we had some concerns with it, and we wanted to talk with your company prior to presenting it to the board. Because of the stormwater issues and everything else, it was a little bit larger project than we were anticipating, that's all.
So is it all right, since we're here to present, and then if we need to have a site visit, we can have that
Absolutely,
since
that's
we're
fine,
here?
Madam Chairman.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen the plans, or
Yeah.
we can't comment on anything.
They haven't seen them.
We don't see RDA, so I don't know if that's helpful.
Well, I colored one, can I show you or not show you?
Well,
up to you, Madam Chairman.
we have a continuance, so what we're gonna do is put the motion for the continuance on the table, and then you can show us,
Okay.
and then you can show us your plans. Could I have a motion for a continuance?
I did move.
Oh, did we have a second?
Second.
Did you get that? Motion.
Motion.
Motion, and Mario is the second. Now,
My name is Janet Bernardo. I'm a professional engineer with ESS Group, and I'm the engineer that's been working on this project. We basically, just to explain what we have been doing, sorry, I don't have a hard forward for this. But the goal,
okay, you could do that, or you could pin it up. Okay, that's fine.
so this is 74
Madam Chair, I have to recuse myself.
Okay.
Green Harbor Road.
Okay.
The blue is the pond, is Green Pond. The red is the bulkhead line, which is a hard line that the dock and the slips are attached to. The dark blue is 100 feet from the coastal bank being the bulkhead.
Right.
The property operated as a marina, as you may know, it's family-owned marina, and they store boats in the off-season, and vessels are docked in the slips in the summertime. In the fall, the marina lifts the boats out of the water with a travel lift that is over this, so this is where the travel lift comes out, and they lift it over kind of this, where I have hatched. This whole area is pavers, and their goal is to insert a 2x2 box, and then, and regrade, reshift these pavers around, so that the drainage from the power washing, so the boats come out and they power wash them, right on top of this paver area. So we want to lift some of the pavers and put in a 2x2 box, so that the drainage from the power washing, the runoff from the power washing, will get recycled into this yellow box, which is inside the building, which is a recycled power wash. We have a really good name. So the pink that you see are existing stormwater features. They're leaching catch basins, trench drain. The yellow is the areas that we're looking to work in. So it's a trench drain to install, tie into this leaching catch basin, this 2x2 box, and so we have some trenching that would need to be done a couple of feet down that would require to put the pipes in. And then the green area is the pavers that would be shifted and moved around a little bit. And then down, this yellow circle down here is adding more seashells, fresh seashells in the parking area.
Just to level it off.
Just to level it off, because that area has some ponding problems. So it wasn't an extensive amount of work. We were hoping that an RTA would be appropriate for this, because we were hoping that a negative determination of applicability would be appropriate.
Okay, and perhaps in 2 weeks it will be appropriate, once the staff is comfortable with it. We have to wait until we get staff's,
Which is, that's totally
Recommendation.
fine. I guess, only because I'm concerned with the hearing that just happened, that was 20 minutes of a continuation for, I'm like,
Oh.
wow, the 21st is gonna be a long night for you. So, that's totally appropriate, and we will be happy to
Well, I
come
can
back,
tell you-
but-
I can tell you a couple of things. First of all, the hearing that you just heard obviously is
28th, Madam Chairman, is when Mr. Patterson,
asked for,
So it'd be a week after the other.
The 28th.
yeah. But in fact, the RDAs come first,
Okay,
so,
that's good to
Yeah.
hear. Okay, so, I mean, I guess that we have no choice but to wait, which, we will. The goal was to have the work done before the ships start, the boats, the vessels, come out for the fall. If we have to wait, we will wait.
okay,
we
but
are
you gave us,
disappointed.
I mean, we all
I
of
would like to
us
say, I'm
here.
really disappointed because we really tried really hard to get this to happen, and, so, I'm just very disappointed. So, that's my statement.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
My name is Phil Bonanno, I'm with Green Pond Marina Associates.
thank you.
What's got us a little upset is that we get this message today, that there's some questions about something, and we don't know what those questions are. And we're not gonna know what those questions are until next week, right? Can't you at least tell us what the problems are?
No, she did tell you that it's a discussion
Sir,
with
we
your
have to,
wetland scientist.
we wanted to talk to your
Excuse me,
engineer.
please a little louder, I can't hear you, I got a little problem hearing.
We wanted to talk to your engineer in more depth about the project in the office and potentially schedule a site visit. As Mr. Kaspersik said in his email, a notice of intent for this exact work was filed many, many years ago, and we want to just make sure that it's being done. I mean, you're asking to do this under an RDA. When I originally spoke to, I believe I originally spoke to Alex about it, my conversation with him and the project that was presented, I felt it was a little bit more than what I discussed with him, and I just wanted the opportunity to feel comfortable with going forward with the project. I know we contacted you this afternoon, and we were contacted by Mr. Patterson. We wanted to schedule a site visit next week with you.
Well, what's your problem? We can maybe,
Sir,
excuse me.
No,
Sir,
he-
I can tell you, many of us have been on the board many years, and most projects like this come in under notice of intent. If the
Grading
staff,
issues, whether or not this complies with the
second, Jen.
Massachusetts
Jen.
stormwater.
if the staff wants further information and to discuss it, it's their right to do it. These are very strict stormwater regulations that have to be met. That's why you have to do this work in the first place.
Well, can you explain what you mean by that? Excuse me, I just want to understand. What do you mean by this, very important stormwater issues that have to be met?
These are-
There's
these are-
one catch basin is being
These are
installed.
federal stormwater regulations, and the staff wants to make sure that the project complies. I'm sure you have
And
a
and just.
valid engineer here who understands what the regulations are, and I'm sure that she would be happy to talk to the staff and do a site visit. I'm sorry it came at the last minute, but
Yeah,
we have a lot of-
As Jen explained, we're going to be taking boats out of the water. We're trying to do something right here.
Yes.
Rather than let the water go back into the pond as it used to go, we're trying to do something right. We were trying to get this water recycling system.
sir,
so
how
that-
long have you known you had this as an issue? This issue didn't just
That's
come
why-
up.
No, and
It just-
it's
it
really
did just come
not,
up.
it's not, an issue for, I mean, there's a little bit of a ponding issue. They have decided that they wanted to start recycling their power wash. They don't have to. So that was, the intent was to, kind of be doing something right by recycling their power wash water that is currently infiltrating into them. It is fine as far as the stormwater management. Just so you can appreciate a little bit, I'm a civil engineer and I sit on the Native Conservation Commission. I know exactly where you're at, so I get it.
No, we just want to be a little bit,
Yeah, and
we just
I-
wanted
and
to
it-
talk
and
with
it
you about the
will-
project.
And that is totally fine. It is an impervious area, we are not increasing impervious area. We can file a stormwater if that is really what you
We
require.
just wanted to talk to
She
you.
just wants to talk to
Prior
you.
to the going
She
forward,
could have
that's all.
called us any time before
Excuse
the
me,
meeting, it's
Madam
not the
Chair.
afternoon you need.
Sir, we have a motion and a second on the table for a continuance to the 28th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Nauset Avenue Realty Trust, care of Richard McCarrion, 45 Nauset Avenue East, North Falmouth, for permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspools and to install a new Title V sewage disposal system with a 2,500-gallon pump chamber and septic tank, 2-inch force main, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, staff is recommending a -2 under the state, -2 under the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Michelle's back again. You know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Vitello Family Nominee Trust, care of Cynthia Vitello, 39 Green Pond Road, East Falmouth, for permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspool and install a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we're recommending a -2 under the bylaw and -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Any questions from the audience? Motion on the table is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Request for a hearing under a notice of intent for permission to remove, fill, dredge, build upon, degrade, and/or otherwise alter an area subject to protection. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. Michael and Cynthia Serrard, 59 Old Minot Road, East Falmouth, for permission to construct a timber dock consisting of a 6-foot by 16.5-foot float, 3-foot by 12-foot ramp, 4-foot by 34-foot fixed timber pier from mean low water seaward, with a 4-foot by 20-foot section of dock grading, a timber walkway from mean low water landward approximately 4 feet by 138 feet long, 8 6-inch by 6-inch timber piles, 2 4-inch diameter float pipes, rope stringers, decking, timber railing, lateral stairs for public access, and associated clearing and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'll save any of my questions until after Jeff's presentation.
Good evening, Jeff. It's good to see you again.
Okay. Well, good evening, I'm Jeff Ryther with BSS Design, representing Mike Serrard and his family at 59 Old Minot Road. This is on the upper end of Bourne's Pond. Just upstream a little bit is Route 28 in East Falmouth. You'll see a little note here that the waterway width at low tide is 220 feet wide. And that comes into the design, so that's why I bring that up. To go over the resource areas here, we have land under Salt Pond. We did a shellfish survey. We got 2 quahogs, so we do have land under, or shellfish. Land containing shellfish, I'm sorry. And then at this line here is the salt marsh. We have a band of salt marsh, then it widens back out to sort of the normal width. And the reason I say normal width is there were some alterations done here years ago. I understand that from the owner who heard prior to buying this that it was once a cranberry bog. And you'll see the ditch is excavated through this area here that drain this flattened out area. No, it's been many years since, and I didn't see any cranberry plants there, but a lot of cedar trees or Phragmites and so forth in there. We had the vegetated wetland boundary delineated by Jack Vaccaro, and those data sheets are in the notice of intent for that. Going landward from that, we have a small coastal bank. It looks like at one time there was a little bit of grading that went on when they built the house. So there's a little roll down here at this point, and it's sort of an artificial coastal bank, but still nonetheless a little bank. You'll see it in profile here at the end of the dock profile. And then landward of that, we have the extent of the flood zone up to elevation 10. This is the A9, transitioning to the B buffer to a C buffer, or to a C zone. Flood zone. All right, so those are the resource areas. Again, it's salt pond, shellfish, salt marsh, BVW, coastal bank, and then flood zone. So the project is a dock, the main dock portion that we normally see in these applications. It's right here, this section perhaps that goes over the salt marsh and then into the water. Because we have this altered area, we decided to, rather than use the existing path, oh, by the way, I wanted to mention that there is a path with a little broken footbridge. If you got out there, you may have seen that. That's to be taken out. And then a walkway placed instead of walking down that path through the wetland. And that elevated walkway is shown here. It's light timbers, handrail, of course. Then we come out to the area where we have this little berm. Now there's a berm that's just on the landward side of the salt marsh. I think when they excavated this ditch, they piled up this soil, so it separates the two wetlands. And that's where we've indicated this way off the dock. So when you come down, you can get off the dock onto that berm area. And we're also using that as the lateral access for the public, as well as being able to do that is at the low tide line. Here there's 5.5 feet, and then you have the stairway up and over. So there's a lot of regulations, in these dock designs, and one of them is height over salt marsh. And so once we get over the salt marsh, we're at an elevation that's a little bit too high for a typical ramp. So we've pitched the decking from elevation 6.5 to 4.5. This is above mean sea level. And then the ramp and float, just to get it down. I did mention earlier about the shellfish survey. There was 2 quahogs found down in this area here. It comes out to 0.13 quahogs per 9 square feet, so it's well under the threshold for significant shellfish. All right, so we also have in this design dock grading over the salt marsh area and over that peat shelf. So there's one of the other regulations. We're up over 4 feet. We're 4 foot wide. We're over 4 feet in height. That's a requirement by our Army Corps of Engineers. Another Army Corps regulation is that the dock can't exceed 25% of the waterway width at low tide. So that's why we indicated that. I don't show the width that's out here, but it's in the notice of intent, the full locus map with the GIS map. You'll see that we're at 50 feet, which is 22% of the waterway width. So I just wanted to pass this out. This is dock regulations under Category 1 under the Army Corps. And they have quite a few regulations. Not as many as the Falmouth Concom, but still many. And the one I just referred to is the 25, no greater than 25% of the waterway width. It's down near the bottom. And you'll see other ones there. The 1-to-1 rule is height versus width over marsh. There's several regulations there. So the reason I brought that is I got a note from the harbor master, which I'll give you. And it caught me by surprise because you think you got all your ducks in a row, and then you get a note from the harbor master, and it says this proposed dock uses 25% of the waterway width. Actually, it's 22%, but he says 25%. Therefore, navigation may be negatively affected in this area. Now, again, we got to remember.
Jeff, when did you receive that from Greg?
It's hard to read the date. It's 7/27/13. He didn't send you a copy?
Next time you submit a notice of intent application for a dock, please include the harbor master's letter in the notice. If not, I'll just mail it back. Anyway, go on, Jeff.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pass
It's a
that down.
requirement of our regulations to have the harbor master's letter in the application. So in the future, please do that. Thank you.
Anyhow, so he says here in this this note, it says, I request the applicant move the float back to the 3 line. The 3, what I think he's referring to is the 3-foot depth line, meaning the contour that you see here. We have a -3. As far as depth goes, we have quite a few shots. We didn't skimp on those, and we knew where the dock was going, so we shot many through here. And we have actually a 4-foot contour here. But just on this side, we have a 3.5-foot sounding. So I think we're in the right place with this float. The harbor master, I believe, jumped to conclusion a little quick. So I did call him, and he said, well, Jeff, I know you made that, but if you can move it back. And I said, if I move it back, then I'm not going to have the 3 foot of water under the float. Now remember, the float sticks in the water, say about 6 inches. So we're playing with a 1/2 foot here. And I meet the Army Corps regulation. And I'm at the extent of the waterway, so there's not a lot of boat traffic. There's 2 more houses and 1 dock. Anyway, I don't know what we do with Greg's letter here, but he doesn't say it has to go that way. He just says, suggest moving it 20 feet. 20 feet would actually bring it in under the -3-foot contour. So
We know what your issue is.
Jeff, can we have a copy of that harbor master letter, please?
Yeah, I just passed it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I personally would prefer the dock to be in deeper water if we can. If it meets the length requirement, I would prefer it to be in as deep water
Yeah,
as possible.
we have this, and then we'll discuss our issues. We understand your dilemma, and perhaps we can solve it.
Right. Well, I just wanted to say, you know that you do have the 100-foot rule from the back edge of the salt marsh.
Right.
And so we're about, I do have that number here, 63 feet. So we're well under that.
Yeah.
We meet the Army Corps regulations. We got the depth. We're not in a velocity flood zone, thank God. And we're elevated properly. So I think I've got it all covered.
And you're in the
Although in passing with Jennifer the other day, she said, Jeff, how about some grading over this BVW, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
So I can certainly edit the plan for that. And I guess I'm ready for questions.
Okay, we're ready. In fact, we were ready 5 minutes ago. Jen?
Just next time, Jeff, please give us the harbor master letters with the application. You guys always forget that.
Would you like to know which regulation it
And
is?
next time, I'll just send the whole packet back to you. Grading's a good thing. I'd like to see the grading on the marsh, on the boardwalk along the,
BW.
the BVW. Is there any way we can move it where we're not taking out a cedar tree in the bordering vegetative wetland?
Talking about this one right here?
Yes.
Yeah,
I know it's only a 2-inch cedar, I understand that.
there's another one that's bigger, that's, oh, it's right there, 12-inch. So I'm trying to keep away from that one.
I could walk down,
Yeah,
and
we could
I had
probably do that.
distance from
Yeah.
this side to this side.
We're not gonna
with no
allow you
tree.
to bring, take out any trees in the actual wetland.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way. So if you have to, you know, change the course of your boardwalk a bit, that'll be, you know,
Okay.
that's up to you. And just another quick thing, 4 feet for Army Corps, what's the waterways for your lateral access? Is that 4 or 5?
Well, I did speak to David Hill on this.
Yeah, you've been talking to a lot of people on this one, haven't you?
It's, well, one of the things is, when you do a dock design, you gotta think about, you know, use,
Yep,
and, you know, do you wanna put steps in it? Typically not. We tried to keep the pitch of this to a reasonable pitch at 5%.
okay. So that's
So
why you have
I
the
called
stairs.
David Hill and I said, listen, I'm very close, I have it at low water, and I can provide steps. He says, steps are fine.
Okay.
We just have to sign it, you know?
I was just gonna
So-
say, you have to.
Yeah,
get a
as
sign.
long as you put the
So,
signs on,
um,
yeah.
That's a requirement when you get your license. You get actually the sign, how they want you to print it.
So there's no way to get that dock up another foot to not have the steps there?
Well, I thought the steps
I'd rather
were.
have steps than-
Okay, no, that's fine, I was just
thought the
asking.
steps was a good idea to be able to get off the dock other
Okay.
than,
No, that's
you know,
fine, I'm
because
just
you're
curious.
here to here without being able to get off. And so I thought that was
Okay, no, that's
not
fine.
a bad idea to have a way
Yeah,
off.
just as long as it's marked so people will know.
And it's right there at that little raised berm, so
Okay, yep.
I think it makes the best sense, to be honest.
Jeff, how does your, I know you have a winter storage, how does your client propose to get his floats out of there? Is he gonna bring them all the way down Barnes Pond and underneath the bridge?
That's how you would have to do it. It is a long way. Another option is to just leave it in and bubble it, but I don't know if that's
Up that high,
what
that'll
he
probably
plans to do.
freeze.
So we show it coming down here at the end of the driveway. Yeah, so you'd have to tow it down under the bridge. It's not
How are
much of
you
a
gonna
bridge.
tow it under the bridge? With a whaler?
Well, yeah, the
You can do that.
Well, I know you can, and then you're gonna tow it with the whaler at the end of the
Oh, you have to
season
go down to
in
Green Pond.
what, October?
over to
September,
that, over to that boat ramp that we were just talking about earlier tonight. No,
Green Pond, well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, it's green.
You're in Bourne's Pond.
Right,
You're
you
gonna
have to
come
be-
out of Bourne's Pond in a whaler in October, dragging that
I'm
float,
gonna pick a calm day.
and come all the way over to Green Pond?
Well, you can switch boats too. But,
You haven't talked to your client about how he's gonna move that float?
well,
Because you just told me they're gonna switch boats out in
no,
the
I'm saying
sound.
you could switch, but I'm just saying,
You could. No, I know what you're,
I own that little 13-foot whaler, my son,
no, I know, you told
outgrown
me.
it, and he
I've
said,
been
you know,
under that
Dad,
pond,
time
that
for big
bridge,
boats. But
that's
anyway,
what I
I've used
know.
that boat for everything, and I know I could tow this little thing around there. But we did all these soundings with a 13-whaler, and you know, certainly we could get that out from underneath that bridge.
Okay. Please inform your client, I never want to see that float up against on that marsh.
On this marsh.
Nope,
Sure.
because that will be grounds to not have a float anymore, if we can't properly take care of it.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what this guy does, but he's got a float.
we'll be looking into that one.
In fact, I think the whole thing floats, but.
We're concentrating on your dock, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's,
No.
let's have questions from the board. Mario?
Well, Jeff knows some of the problems I have, not with the project per se, because I think it meets
Yeah, it meets.
regulations under state and our local regulations, and the lateral access steps, that's a Chapter 91 requirement, and you've provided that. The problem I have is with the delineation of salt marsh and bordering vegetative wetland, and I indicated that to you. When I was in the field, upgrading of the first ditch, I saw a preponderance of salt marsh species. I can name them for you if you want, but they're there. And
You talking about this ditch?
upgrading of the first ditch,
This one?
yeah. Now, the way I look at it, I mean, we've had to ask Mr. Vaccaro in previous cases for DEP field sheets. It's like pulling hen's teeth, frankly, but,
They were
We
submitted
got
with
And
that.
they're in there, but I think they're for this,
They were submitted with the notice.
I didn't get it.
I think they're in the,
Were they, did anyone
They were
else get
at
them?
the back of the
Yeah.
shellfish,
I'm
store
sorry,
back.
well, my package didn't have them. Well, I still say that,
There you go.
okay. I saw the shellfish survey, and that looked good to me.
Yeah, they were at the end of the shellfish survey.
This is just, what's he got here? Well,
I do know that there's quite a few trees still along in here and here, so,
once again, he did this in midwinter, and we've had that problem before, but it really should be done during the growing season. So I would have Mr. Vaccaro definitely check the upland edge of the salt marsh, which according to my field notes, really should be located around the 3 contour. And the BVW should be sited along the 4 contour. So you can either,
way out here with,
just look at the contours. Okay, so we're looking at a 3 contour for the salt marsh and a 4 contour for the BVW. You know,
that would be surprising, but,
so you can either revise the plans, moving the resource areas to those contours, or have Mr. Vaccaro go back out there and take a real close look at particularly the upland edge of a salt marsh, because, you know, the zone A for a salt marsh is 100 feet. BVW is 50 feet, so it's kind of important that we get these 2 resource areas set.
right, yeah, we're not doing too much, except for the walkway itself, but,
Right.
Well, it would affect the length of the dock.
What it's gonna
but
affect
I don't
is,
think,
you
I
know-
don't see how, there's these big trees that are in this area. I can't believe that they're in a salt marsh.
right, and by the way, if it,
Pine,
I did the old taste test, by the way, and, because I had some of those questions, and, I actually,
We've got groundsel bush, we've got.
I
Wait a minute,
tasted the
when
water.
did you do the taste test, though? There could be fresh water welling up there. We've had a
yeah.
lot of
Rain,
rain
Jeff.
last month.
There is a lot of trees in this area, so and I did see, some grasses, I did see switchgrass and some sedge, in fact, but, geez, all the way up to the 3-foot contour, I'm not sure about that one, but,
Well, the issue.
I'll
the
have to have
issue is,
Jack look
Jeff,
at that.
The issue, Jeff, is that I believe wherever the edge of the salt marsh is, even if it's more landward than, as you suspect,
Yep.
it isn't as far as this 3-foot contour, because I can't believe all those trees are growing there.
It's not unusual to have red cedar in a salt marsh, particularly along the outer edge of it. So.
And the pines?
Well,
Pines
you
look
can-
very healthy, which surprised me, just being.
That it was
civil
salt marsh.
engineer,
Yeah, but, so I mean, if
Well,
it
but
were
then
all
let
the way to here, it would mean you couldn't build the dock, because it would be it would be too long.
Right.
Then Mr. Picaro has to go back out and take a closer look at the perimeter of the salt marsh and the perimeter of the BVW, because I think it's incorrect. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with the dock per se.
But I have a problem with the dock if the salt marsh line were pulled all the
Well,
way
I
that far
suppose
back.
that would affect it, I guess, you
Right.
know. But just have them look, upgrading here, like I said, I know that you've got a 4-inch pine there and a 10-inch cedar, but like I said, if you look at the dominance of the plants in there, rather than individual trees, I think, you know. Now, like I said, if Mr. Vaccaro can come up with a better set of field sheets during the growing season, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
I thought he did a good job with the shellfish survey.
Right?
Mike?
Does moving the dock, say 20 feet south, do away with some of the problem?
South?
South. Dropping it that down south.
Down here?
Well, it puts it over this little mounded area here that may be a problem.
See this?
I'm trying to use the existing area that's sort of worn with foot traffic,
After,
and so,
I'm pretty happy with the thing, if we can make the dock
oh, you
harbor
mean
master
harbor
a little
master?
happy and help with Mario. Shifting it a little bit would make them happy, would make everybody happy. While you're looking at this, just take a look at it. If it's a bad idea, just tell me it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, right offhand, it's thicker in vegetation through here.
Yep.
You know, it's all head
Yeah.
high. You know, you'd have to carve a trail through there to build that. But yeah, I tried to take an area that was already sort of worn down.
Well, if you're out there today, it all looks hedgehog.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you can walk through, but it's all grown up, it's all,
Yeah.
It's all grown
well,
up.
there's phragmites in most of it.
Right. Well, that was another thing, that the abundance of the Phragmite tells me it's sort of freshwater.
No.
Well, I'm not saying that there isn't a
That might have
BVW,
been-
you know.
That might have been 30 years ago, but now there's plenty of phragmites in
So,
marshes,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Jeff, do you think I didn't see any staking for the center line of the boardwalk, so it's kind of hard to gauge exactly where you're going in with that.
You came off the steps.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm not sure what
I'm talking
happened to
about the
those,
boardwalk.
but
Yeah, you came down the steps before.
Well, I think, if we could have a center line, that's a fairly thick wetland, and I'd like to
Okay.
know exactly where we're going with this. It might be a small thing, but.
well, it should have been staked. Well, you
I
saw stakes here,
I saw you
right?
have a stake for the end of
He means
the
through
float.
the, what you
here.
call the BVW.
Okay.
That was, I mean, I didn't have any trouble finding the existing path and finding
Right.
what you're gonna abandon, but
No stake here. Because I did ask the survey crew to go out and stake it, but they probably thought dock,
Right.
All right, well,
I should have gone.
just an observation.
Thank you.
Well, I'll get that done.
Thank you, Jeff.
Tom,
So we're looking at new data sheets and staking
I
at this
think
point.
the issue is, Jeff, if he does find that it pulls it back, I mean, when we do these plans, these are what the wetlands delineations are for the next, valid for the next 3 years. And so we want to make sure you get it right.
Well, I thought I hired the right guy, but we'll see.
Well, I'm not
I mean,
saying
you
it
know,
is or isn't right, I'm just saying we want to
You're right, it was
make
done,
sure.
it was done during, the sort of the winter season.
Yeah.
Did it have a date, Marianne?
February
February.
26th.
Okay.
It's pretty winter.
Yeah, I know we started this a while, and then we had to wait for the weather to get better for the shellfish. Here we are.
Tom,
If the harbor master is satisfied, if that is cleared up, I think as presented, I really don't have an issue. I was looking at some nuts and bolts on that. As long as the applicant understands about storing it in the upland, I'm comfortable with that. I think that's a smart issue. I think it's something that can be done. It eliminates potential damage to everything else. Just get it out for the winter, put it back. It's not that tremendous a big deal. Where is your power and water coming from? You're trenching it to the frame of the, but it's just a curiosity. It's a seasonal, I know where it is on the dock. Where are you trenching?
Yeah, we'd have to trench that over to, I'll show that on the plan.
That would
You're, wait, you're trenching through the wetland?
No, up to
Oh, it'll go along the
Up to the
boardwalk.
boardwalk, and it'll be attached to the boardwalk.
That's what
and
I,
then along
yeah,
there.
that's what I thought, it's gonna be attached to
But
the
he wants
boardwalk.
to see
would
where it
just- so you
goes.
would trench to the
He wants to
house.
see it from the house to
Okay.
the,
Yeah, I just want to see where it's generating from. It's a seasonal water,
Yeah.
Yeah?
and just to make sure we're clear on that. I was going to ask you about spreading pieces apart. You got 2x10 stringers, and I can, they're 6x6 posts, so they're slightly smaller than other timbers, which is,
Well, one of the line items on that Army Corps Category 1 design guide, it says that pile spacing should be at 20 times the diameter. And so if you use a 10-inch pile, that's 16 feet, or 1 foot is 20 feet. So this is 5.5 inches square.
right.
So sort of close to
I
half
understand why
foot.
you did it. I was
So-
just explaining what I looked at. I was originally, but they're 6x6s, so I understand why your
Right.
span is what it is. If you had to span longer than that, you'd have to use a larger pile. So I'm
Right.
comfortable with.
Larger pile
6x6.
plus stringers, and then it starts to look like a dock that's out of place, because, we're in light-duty country here,
Yes,
so,
I think that that's gonna work out okay.
yeah.
it's really light duty. You can only have a boat of a certain size because it has to get under the
That
bridge.
can't go into that, yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Correct.
You're stuck with a skiff, basically.
A little whaler.
Exactly.
And
You can do a lot with a whaler.
that's about it.
Michelle?
I had the same question about spacing, just given that we're in land containing shellfish, but it sounds like maybe with the size of pilings that that's not so much an issue here. But I also thought that maybe we should have, if you're making these other plan revisions, that maybe you could show the mooring field on the plan. We usually require that a mooring field be shown for the docks.
Are we talking a boat?
Just a little, either a boat or a little box.
Just where that,
Okay.
Little box with dotted stash lines. Or a little boat.
oh, that's true. It doesn't have to be a shape of a boat.
It could be.
Dotted line, either way.
Okay. Yeah, most likely it'll be facing
Yeah,
that
I
direction.
think, yeah. And that's all.
Okay, any other questions? You would like a continuance?
Yeah, I think because I need to go speak with Jack, I'll need maybe 3 weeks.
August 28th, Jeff, is that okay?
3 weeks is perfect. We can give you 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the 21st.
Barbara, do you want to come
Nobody
back for
ever
the
wants-
21st?
Coward.
Do you want to come back for the 21st?
Anybody want to come and protect us on the 21st?
On behalf of the applicant, I move to continue this to August 28th.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the table to continue to the 28th. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Who has a question?
The audience.
Oh, you have a question.
I
I'm sorry.
explained your procedure to him and told him, don't worry, the chairman will never close the hearing without asking for audience. That's
She asked, she just didn't see.
I did ask, I didn't see.
So,
You may,
have a continuance? Oh, I have to-
yes, you may get up.
We haven't voted the continuance yet, so remember I said they'll move it and they'll put the motion on the table and then she will ask for audience comment.
That's correct. And I did
I know.
ask, everything you said, I did, I just didn't look.
I remember that, but, thank you. Terry Eisen. I am the butter to the south.
Okay?
That's my little dock right out there.
Oh, yeah, we can see it there.
Okay.
And we can see the person to the north also.
So, yeah, so probably many of my questions are already moot points. You know, you guys probably know the rules and the regulations much better than I do. But I just have a few brief things I want to ask, questions. So,
Us?
one is, there was a question I had regarding a moratorium on docks in Barnes Pond. Is that,
I haven't gotten an answer to that, sir. I'll have it for the 28th.
so I've asked that of a few folks in town, trying to understand whether there is or is no longer a moratorium on dock construction.
Actually, when I first got on the board, I vaguely remember hearing about that, but I don't, what was the moratorium?
I need to look into that.
Oh, you heard about
That's
it too? Yeah.
So I didn't mention I'm a 20-plus year resident right there on that property. So I recall that vaguely, that there was a moratorium.
Yeah,
I don't
now
know
that
where
you
to look
say it.
other than town hall, and everybody's saying, yes, I think there was, but we don't know.
I can't remember, well, I mean, it was before my time that I heard about it, and I don't remember why.
So how do we research whether there is or wasn't, or
Jen,
if it was
well,
properly?
I'll
Jen
take
will-
care of it.
Jen
properly
can
resolved.
figure it out.
In my mind, as the abutter there, and I look at the sections, the elevations, and the plan of that, I think that dock is, myself, kind of out of place. It's extremely large. I'm sure there's regulations, reasons it has to be that. But my question really is, and I still don't really understand, is this is the edge of the bordering vegetative wetlands. I would assume all of this is the wetlands. And the location that's picked for the dock is the greatest run of wetlands. And I'm wondering why maybe not, it'd be less intrusive to wetlands, why that is not moved further north where there's less intrusion. And I also want to say, I assume everybody's walked out there, it sounds like everybody's been out there. There's been, over the years, a lot of filling and clearing and openings here. This seems to be the least treed area, the least disturbed area, because when you look at this location here, there's lots of trees, there's lots of growth. There is a set of stairs that you refer.
No trees will be allowed.
Right, I understand,
to be
but I don't know,
taken.
there's a lot of other vegetation.
Yeah,
So I just see, when I look in here where this set of stairs are, and what was called a bridge, I'll just call it a couple pieces of wood
right.
myself, I would think there's
That's what I would have called it too.
Yeah. There's a lot of, just to me, a lot of vegetation there. Why disturb all this vegetation when you can go further north where it's already cleared, it's already, I got pictures, if you'd like to have pictures for the record,
Right.
of where it's so clear, you can see right out there. Why disturb all of this when you could be out here? That's, I don't know if that's a rhetorical question or.
Well, it may be, depending on when
There's
the
a
salt
setback.
marsh, when the salt marsh line is put in, it may be that it has to be moved one way or the other.
Right.
There's also another regulation that it has to be set 10 feet from the neighbor.
Right, I understand that too.
Right.
But I think there would be a lot of room for that.
The water depth is an
Water
issue
depth
to the
becomes
north.
an
Oh,
issue
and water
as you-
depth
as you go
is an
north.
issue.
And water depth, but I guess that's a lot of that stuff. Technical
That's
stuff
why
that
you
you
said
guys
down here,
Yeah.
can work out.
but there are trees here too.
Regarding impeding of navigation, it's true, there's not a lot of boats, there's not a lot of houses up north there, but there is a lot of small boat traffic that runs along, especially the perimeter over there, and, you know, being like kayaks and whatever. So
It's
when we
beautiful
talk
out there.
about
That's
that dock
beautiful.
impeding.
That's a beautiful body
Yeah,
of
it's a
water to be
gorgeous
on.
spot, it's a great spot, and that low bridge that only the whalers get underneath, it makes it a great spot. Trying to hit all these little points here. So, and I don't know if that stairs and bridge was ever permitted back there. I know the previous owner who had owned that property for 40-some odd years, and I know a lot of the old history on that property. There were some things I saw on the plans, which I guess you addressed. There was 4x4s construction, and I saw some 6x6 construction, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, if that's a major issue. then I got this letter that you guys all got the notice of intent, so I had a couple brief things. I just want to make sure. This notice says that the bridge, narrow bridge at the center of the wetlands and the small walkway is in dire need of repair, and my comment was it just needs to be taken down because it's not even really legal. The stairway, the lateral stairway that leads to nowhere, I don't quite understand the point of that. I always thought a lateral stairway was for people who were walking along the edge of the water, can have a way to traverse over something and can get around and keep going. But this stairway seems to be, excuse me, because I don't know the proper language, appears to be within a ditch, right there between a ditch, and is that the salt marshes on the edge of this, inside the edge of the salt marsh. So
Right,
I
it's
don't
on-
see how, who's getting it in there and how,
Well,
what's the point of that?
it's a state requirement that there has to be a lateral access.
Right, and so I guess I'm just wondering why it's not out of the water, but it would seem to make more sense. Is that what it's for?
Well,
Who's gonna use that?
It has to be between mean high and mean low
Okay, so
water.
you guys work that out, okay. Thank you.
Well, it actually isn't between mean high and mean low. Jeff, can you look into that?
Yeah, I
The
did
placement
see
of that staircase?
I did.
Okay.
Well, you can't put a staircase in the water. It can't be in the water.
Do we want it?
It's in the salt marsh.
Well, he has it on the berm, what he calls the berm. It might be in the salt marsh, if the salt marsh line moves.
No, it's currently showing the salt marsh.
No, it's just north of
He
it.
said it's on the berm. There's a little berm when you walk out.
Yeah.
So just one more brief thing, I don't think I have clarity on, one of my first points was, why is it here and not where it disturbs the least amount of vegetation? And I guess I know you, way I understand you have some more work to do on the drawing and in the field, but will that be addressed, or how would you?
I can
how would you
answer,
that
I can
question
answer
since
that right now. He doesn't have the water depth there. If he goes to the
There's
north,
no
he's-
water depth.
he
No
doesn't
water
have,
depth here?
Yeah.
right. That's not gonna go to the north because he couldn't get
No, you
the
can't get
depth
the
at
water
the end
depth.
of
Go
the
to the
dock that
south
he
of
needs.
anywhere. Except there's that big pile.
This gives Jeff an opportunity to go back and be creative. Right, Jeff?
Sure. I just want to talk briefly about, again, the location. When you look at the dock design, you don't want to press anybody, so we've got it centered pretty much on its lot. Terry's dock here is kind of close to the lot line, and only 1.2 feet at the end, and so that was sort of old school.
Right.
And he says the dock looks long, but if you take that dock and you put it there, it's really the same dock. I have to just get over the salt marsh and provide lateral access, and then have a means of over this wetland.
I think his
So
concern
by the
was
time you're done with
halfway
it,
through
it
the
looks like a big
densest
dock, but
part.
it's light duty. I did swap over to 4x4s for posts through here, just to lighten up the structure. There's really no need to have 6x6s in this light walkway. I mean, personally, I'd like to do away with the walkway, but I wouldn't think you'd want us to walk back and forth through the wetland. So, therefore that. Yeah, no water depth up in here. You have a boulder too as well. So, I'm not sure where these boulders came from.
I was
It's
going to
such
say,
a-
where did that come from?
I don't know, there's quite a few actually along the
Scattered
shore.
up and down the shore.
Really? That area?
Yeah. They must have been just plunked out of the, I don't know how they got there. Usually it would mean that the glacier came to here, but I think they were transported and plopped in.
Maybe it was a tsunami.
I'm not sure. Anyhow, I think that answers, some of his questions, but it's not really a tremendous dock. It just, the walkway gives it the look, It's a shorty, really. I mean, I was surprised to have that depth.
Yeah, I was
at low
surprised.
water.
I'm
It's
surprised
like,
you
yeah.
There's
haven't.
no depth there. There really is no depth there, especially at Nemo Tide. It's very-
Well, we showed,
My little Zodiac sits on the bottom pretty close.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because it is shallow where you are, but there's
And it was
there's a
discouraged to
hole.
have a floating dock there when I had applied.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table for continuance to the 28th. Michelle,
I
you
just
have a
wanted
question?
to make a point. I do not think I will be able to be here on the 28th, so hopefully the four of you
Are
can.
you planning to be here on the 28th?
No, I'm on vacation the 28th.
Well, we can't do it the 28th, Jeff.
Sorry about that.
Are you meeting the next week?
We're not meeting next week.
No, the next.
No, we're meeting the 9th of September, Jeff. I mean, the 11th of September, Jeff.
I also will not be here that.
That's fine. Mario, will you be here the 11th of September?
Yes.
Okay. Mike?
Well,
As far as I know.
I can't make that one.
All right.
I have, unfortunately,
No, Jeff,
a major knee surgery.
no, that's fine. Do you think you could get all your questions answered for the 21st? If Barbara's chuckling
You
back.
want to
with-
be here the 21st.
I just don't think that I can get Jack.
Okay, all right, so
That means
how
I
about,
have to have everything done by next Wednesday.
yeah.
No, you're busy. I understand.
No, that's fine. Then we'll push it out to the 18th of September.
Okay.
Are you still gone?
Better now.
No, I'm,
18th of September.
18th should be fine with me.
Yeah, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Well, it'll be the 6th week from now.
I'd like to revise
Are
my
you here?
motion to
No, I'm
continue.
gone after that.
You're gone on the 25th.
No, I leave the 26th, so I'm here the
Okay.
18th and the 25th.
All right. Is that okay with you, Jeff? Are you gonna be
I'm
ready?
gonna be on crutches, but
Is that, you expect sympathy from us? You're on
I don't know.
I don't
I just
know.
hope it all goes well, that's all.
I just think you just have to look at your line, Jeff, and that's it, and revise the plan to add the grading on it.
Yeah,
Show
I mean,
that
Mariel's
trench-
got me kind of upset here, a little
Show that
worried.
trench line, make
But-
sure you're not taking any trees
Show up
down.
in a wheelchair, that'll be better.
Yeah. Maybe a bunch of bandages wrapped around your head and
I'd
your
like to
knee.
revise my motion to continue this to September 18th.
Second.
Okay.
So will somebody answer that moratorium question?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and that gives Jen a lot longer. If she,
I
I have some
I
places
don't-
you can look.
Yeah.
I can tell you where I heard that rumor.
If you can't find anything, then I guess the answer is no moratorium, but.
No,
Yeah,
there was. I
There
just
was
don't know
definitely
when
a
it was
moratorium, but
lifted.
seems to me it was like a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And I don't, there was some issues, but we'll find out.
Okay.
There
Do I
are,
get notified again, or?
No.
No.
no,
No.
I have to write this
no,
down?
did you get the date?
Yes, I
We're into September now.
18th.
The 18th.
September 18th. But you're certainly welcome to come on the 21st of this month.
You all want,
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table. We'd like some friendly faces in the audience. Motion and a second on the table for a continuance to September 18th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Susan, did you get that?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep.
Barbara, you've been so patient. Clive Gummo, 45 Sunset Point Road, North Falmouth, for permission to install a 25-foot wide native buffer strip, maintain a 4-foot path, install an above-ground irrigation system, submit monitoring for plant health, remove unpermitted gravel seaward and along the sides of the house, maintain a 4-foot gravel path and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Proposed work activities are to address an expired order of conditions, DEP number 252152. Jan, are you with us?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
I'm going to save any of my questions until after Barbara's presentation.
Then, Barbara, the audience is emptied out.
Oh.
Boy. I'm Barbara Frappier with Warwick and Associates, representing the applicant. As you read, Madam Chairman, this is to remedy an expired order of conditions that was never completely satisfied. The order of conditions was issued back in the late 90s for the construction of this house, and part of the order was to install a 25-foot vegetative buffer on the water side of the property. It butts Buzzards Bay, we have coastal beach, we have a rocky shoreline, we have a velocity flood zone and Euphema flood zone. And the 100-foot jurisdictional limit goes through the first half of the house. What had originally been proposed was this buffer somewhere in the middle of the lawn. It made no sense, and it was species that you would just slap your head on if you ever saw it. We are now proposing the buffer in a proper place where it augments the existing native plants that are already here. I met with staff and modified the plant material. That's going to be bayberry and Virginia rose at a 3-to-1 ratio. We will maintain a path through here for beach access. There is a unkempt sort of grassy area on the back side here. We're going to plant some bayberries in there too, just to discourage its use or any placement of structures down the road. And this will all be allowed to grow up on its own. All the planting for the buffer, mitigation plantings will be done in the existing material. We're not going to strip it out or put in mulch, and everything will just be allowed to grow as is. One of the things that staff brought up was this amount of gravel around the back of the house. We are proposing to remove that gravel and limit it to the pink line here, which is about a foot or two outside the existing deck for a drip edge, and then as a path coming down from the driveway stairs down these stairs. I will point out that the deck that is here now represents 300 square feet less than the deck that was originally approved. And also not on this deck that was originally proposed was a enclosed sun porch. So that never got built either. So this is a smaller structure overall, but what we're hoping to do is make it compliant with the intent of the commission back in 1998. I have filed also simultaneously at this time a request for compliance on the old expired order. Our reason being, as always happens, the house is sold. And we have an outstanding order which we need to clear up. And we need to, however, have a new order to do the mitigation plantings that were originally intended. The buyer has committed to make sure the plantings are installed. We've put in for a 3-year monitoring with pictures twice a year. The months, I believe, January, May, and September. For when you want the reports coming for the monitoring of the plant material, we are proposing a temporary above-ground irrigation system for that 3-year period to make sure all the plants are adequately watered. The gravel area that's being pulled up will be replanted with Cape Cod mix. Falmouth friendly lawn protocol will be followed, fescues and rye. And I believe that is it. The buyer would certainly be willing to make a written commitment to knowingly assume the order that you would issue to do these plantings. But what I am hoping can occur, and this is totally at your mercy, as is the buyer, if we could have a certificate of compliance on the old order so that the buyer can go forward with the purchase. He can't while there's still an old order, and as soon as the purchase is done, we will apply the new order to the new owner on the deed. I know what you have is this happens all the time. Everybody gets an order of conditions, they don't do it, and then they get into crunch time, and now they're willing to do anything, and that's the case with this client. He's willing to, I'll take the public caning for him, but at least I do have a buyer who is willing to step up to the plate and see to it that it's done.
So basically, you're asking us to sign off on it. You're basically asking us for for a property owner
Yes,
who was issued an order when?
1998.
98. Didn't want to do his plantings back then. Put gravel in the back.
Yep.
Now wants to, and rightfully so, profit from the sale of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You want us to change the area of the mitigation plantings
Well, it's a
because
better
before
area.
they were in the lawn, and I understand what the old plan looks like, but maybe the commission thought that if they planted that there, then behind there would be able to grow up and a native, I can't understand what the commission did back then.
No.
How, if we close out the old order, you're still gonna have this one
That's correct.
on the deed? Or are you not gonna record it?
I am not going to record it until title transfer.
You are actually asking this board to have a lot of faith in the current property owner, Barbara.
No, I'm asking you to have faith in the buyer and me, because I'll see to it that it's done.
I would suggest that
We can do
I
one, we
would
can do
suggest
them.
that the person who's selling the seller puts up a performance bond, that they can get that back when this second order is completed.
That'll be something the board can decide what you want to do.
I understand that this is really going above and beyond what I would expect that you would want to do, certainly not what staff wants to do.
Barbara filed this order because staff was uncomfortable doing this under an RDA.
Well, originally, it was going to be an RDA to get the plantings in
To get the plantings
immediately.
Immediately,
We
yeah.
were trying to get it all done so that we could get a proper certificate of compliance on the old order.
Yep.
So I filed an RDA just so I could do immediately, get the plants in, so we would be in compliance, so you would feel comfortable issuing the order of, the certificate of compliance. But this was the way that staff preferred that I do it.
Well, I mean, I can, if the seller puts up a performance bond,
Oh, Madam Chairman, I would really caution this board not to get into a buyer-seller issue. You can condition something.
that there has to be a performance bond.
From somebody.
I want a performance bond before we issue, before a certificate of
COC?
compliance is issued.
I'll talk to you after regarding the issues with that. We'll come up with something.
I don't have a DEP number, therefore I have to get a continuation anyways. So if there would be perhaps something that I could maybe facilitate, get, or I really want you to have some comfort level, because quite honestly, you haven't seen me for a while because I've been keeping people out of trouble or keeping them out of your jurisdiction. So
Yeah.
I get called as the problem fixer here, and I'm trying to fix a problem that isn't mine, isn't yours.
Yeah, and I don't want.
Barbara, give me a call tomorrow.
Barbara, it's not fair to put the burden on you either. It's not that it's not that we don't, well, first of all, you shouldn't take the burden. And it's not that we don't trust some
But it'll
person who's
get
coming
done.
into town. It's just that
I want it to get done.
we want a level of comfort
Yes,
that it will get done.
I understand.
So now that we've gotten through that, and you're gonna talk to each other tomorrow.
You need a DEP number.
I need the
She knows
DEP
that,
number, yeah.
But we haven't asked questions yet. Do you have any questions on the project itself?
No,
Michelle?
Nope.
it's pretty straightforward.
On the project itself,
Well, you can ask another question afterwards, but let's stick with the project first. The project itself.
No.
Project itself. I have a question that I've already mentioned to Barbara, and that is where the walkway goes down, it's eroded away, and I would like a couple of stones placed there as part of this project.
Okay.
And that would not be a problem.
Okay?
What's this?
Where
Where the path
this
is,
path
Mike,
Okay.
goes down here,
sort of
it's
like,
all, it's eroded away, just to make it a tidy path up and down. Okay, now, what's your other question?
I'm gonna be interested to see what the administrator comes up with for some information for us at the next hearing, as far as this is. I have become calloused as of late. I would love to be able to.
We've been working on him, and now he's finally
And, you know,
developed that.
I have, it's no reflection on people present, or the applicant, or the buyer. I am just really, as a volunteer, and just, you know, I'm tired of getting peed on and told it's rain.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just really disappointed at, I remember this project because I believe you look on the original order, I probably signed it.
Probably did.
You probably remember.
Yeah.
In 98?
Yeah. that's the
These
first
guys
time
were
that-
both on then.
Oh, well, you were, Mario, yeah. What, 98 were you on in 98?
That's a
So
lot of
it was-
water
That's a
under
lot,
the bridge,
yeah.
Barbara.
It's, you know, and it's just, in that amount of time, you know, I just am very disappointed on how people are so cavalier about what they're supposed to do. And it's unfortunate. because
I'm
you
just
got
trying to
somebody-
get it fixed.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. There's an excited new owner, somebody we want to welcome to our community. I always hold that up higher than the rest. But it's just something that I need to get some kind of comfort level as far as after the discussion that you and the administrator will have.
Okay,
Thank you.
now, when are we gonna continue until?
I guess I gotta come back on the 21st.
Oh!
I won't be here the 21st.
Will you be here the 21st? Will you be here the 21st? Will you be here the 21st?
Mhm.
I guess we'll do without you.
Oh, my heart is broken.
On behalf of the applicant, I'd like to make a motion to continue this to August 21st.
For purposes of a DEP number and to have a conversation with the administrator.
And for whatever else we may want to ask you. This has happened before, when we have a continuance.
Oh, I just wanted to know if there was anything I was missing that I should
Oh.
be bringing to the table.
No, I just didn't, I would doubt that you would ask, that we would only ask those
Oh,
questions.
We have a second? Second?
So we have a motion and a second on the table to continue this to,
The 21st.
August 21st, which would mean you'll be second in the continuances, or
I
third.
know.
All,
But a lot of those people are my clients, so I'm gonna beg them to let me go first.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry you had to sit through so much today. We didn't, none of us realized what an exciting meeting this was gonna be.
Did we receive the
No.
card?
Did we get the green cards from you?
Yes, you did.
We did.
And I would like to make a suggestion that maybe
green card
somebody in
here?
town hall
Okay.
should have signed to say, town hall parking lot is Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 9 PM.
That's
Oh, you
not my
couldn't-
department. I
Did
would
you have trouble
suggest you
getting
call the
parking?
front office.
So I got here at 6:30 to make sure I didn't have trouble. Have to get
It's
here.
road race week. That's all I can
Just
say.
every screw.
Yes.
Well, last week, was it
all
last
right.
week? A couple of weeks ago, it was full, but it wasn't even for our meeting. It was for a different meeting.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night, Barbara.
Night, Barbara.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Jen.
Okay.
Vote orders of conditions. Jeremy and, I hope we have a quorum, Sarah Byer. And
Well, I
before I
thought-
say quorum, those of you who are gonna be missing meetings, let Jen know, because if,
He was telling me.
we need to know. So you're gonna be gone some meetings, you're gonna be gone some
For
meetings.
the 21st, I will not be here.
28th for me.
28th and the
Yeah.
1st and the 9th of September.
Okay, wait a minute.
I
just like to paint on the walls.
know, me too. But I usually travel from Thursday to Tuesday. To travel? Oh, I think it's wonderful that people are gonna be gone and they're on vacation. It's just, we need to know. 37 Gray Lane, do you have the quorum?
Yes.
Oh.
Mario, Mike, Betsy, Tom, Michelle. This is the patio that Mr. Duffy and Mr. Bunker presented to you. Um, They're trying to find a way to include the required plantings in the scheme. So, Madam Chairman, you said put them all together on that side.
Yeah.
They
and
are
there
separating the plantings from the patio.
were- With a,
Yeah, with the daylily
yeah,
bags,
just put those
so-
both in as special conditions.
Okay.
That was our understanding, that's
Yeah,
how
and
it's gonna
that's
be.
it. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward project.
Yep.
It's just a very built-up site, and they just don't have a lot of room
Yeah.
to meet the requirements, so.
Make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second?
You got that? One motion, 2 seconds? Mario didn't get a third second in.
Oh,
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Falmouth Port Condominium Trust, care of Cameron Austin, building 55 units, 254 to 257 Seaward Bend, Falmouth Port.
This is the core fiber log. Oh, it's gonna be, no, it's okay, Susan. You've had a tough night. Susan, Wong?
Unexpectedly.
Tom, Mario, Mike, Betsy, Tom, Michelle. Yeah, it's gonna be the same one for, well, maybe not all of them. It's the core fiber roll project to stop the erosion.
It's David's project.
David's project, bio-friendly hydraulic, like fluids in the machine.
Yep.
They were bringing in, what, a baby excavator,
Yep, small machine.
mini excavator,
Yes.
to do the work. Mario, you have a certain comfort level now with that machine. Were you questioning the size of that machine?
I think so. I think I'm okay on
The
that.
machine cannot be in the water.
Yeah,
No.
cannot,
There was something about adding a dry well for,
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
The direct discharges, they were gonna address that from the
Yeah.
building.
So finding that there's a direct discharge going in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
And his testimony was that everything was stored in the upland and nothing was gonna be
Yep,
left on the work area.
all equipment and materials stored in the upland, that's standard.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second?
All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. P&B Realty Trust, care of Samuel Blagman and Jane Cross trustees, 162 Associates Road, West Falmouth.
This is the project, oh, same form, sorry, no, actually, it's not the same form. It's Mike,
Associates Road.
Betsy, Tom, Courtney, Michelle, Tom, Michelle, sorry.
Mike, Betsy, Tom, Michelle.
Mike, Betsy, Tom, Michelle.
So
Mario, no,
Mario.
Mario's on this one, sorry.
All of us.
They're all on this one. Raise and rebuild.
Yep.
This was, Madam Chairman, you were concerned with the large tree they were gonna remove, that cedar. And the abutter was concerned with the 10.5
7.
inch, 10-foot, 5-inch setback off the property line.
Right.
Their house was right there as well. But other than that, it met your regulations.
Yeah.
The tree removal is of a concern, but can't be helped where they're siting the new house.
Yep.
We may see this again if.
If the abutter talks and they
yeah,
reduce the size.
negotiates with the.
Right, and they could come in under an amendment, and
Correct.
that wouldn't be an issue.
I had a note about requiring that the driveway was stone. Somebody had mentioned.
No, Courtney did that, but,
Okay.
It's,
I mean, I don't, he didn't know, and I
It's
don't,
outside
He
the
thought that it
jurisdiction.
might be, but
yeah, it's, is it outside our jurisdiction? It's in flood zone, isn't it?
It's in flood zone, yeah.
it's in flood zone, but
But, you know, whether it's stone or
Yeah.
or
pavement.
not, if it floods, it's just gonna flood over
Yeah.
a flat surface. So I don't think we should,
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't have a big deal with it. It's not like this, the existing driveway was more of an issue because it created
yeah,
to
and
the
it went
garage
down
under.
and,
Yeah,
right,
it brought
went
it to
into the
this.
garage.
Yeah, it went all this way.
Yeah,
I mean, aesthetically, I think stone would be better for that big of an area, but
yeah, and where it is, I mean,
that's just me.
we would prefer, but we're not saying anything about that.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second.
Any other comment? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Pine Bank Road Realty Trust, care of Ira Gajian, 5 Pine Bank Road, North Falmouth.
Yes, Madam Chairman, this is the one down in Megansett, the quorum is everybody except for Mario. Mario, this is Jack's project down there. The board asked for a revised plan after the last hearing.
For what? What's on here? I forget.
Hang on one second.
This is the foundation. For the foundation, showing.
No, not for the foundation, it was for the detention basin. Yeah, remember, they were gonna make.
They were gonna make-
This detention
Oh, they were
basin
gonna connect it with a.
stone and connect it.
You didn't see, you haven't seen it.
No, it's right in front
Oh,
of you. We just
we just
dropped
received
off
it
some
tonight.
extra copies so you guys can review it, because I did not want just to have to review this on my own. So Jack dropped off these copies for you to see today while you're discussing it. You did
That's-
close the hearing.
that's what was given to us.
Yeah, and it was my comment that they said they were gonna make this construction basin stone, where we had originally asked them to look at doing a rain garden in that area, but they prefer stone.
Well, it'll work with stone.
It'll work with stone, but it'll
Where's
be
the,
a lot more aesthetically pleasing as a little rain garden.
Well, and
I think
actually,
to it,
let's see
we do.
here. Are they're gonna fill,
Oh, here?
This is the one, this is the house where the stormwater is going underneath the house.
I understand.
Yeah.
What is happening in this, what is, used to be a construction basin, is it filling
Well,
it in
that-
with stone?
That's what,
There is no beach, or is
yeah,
there a
that's
beach
what
down?
he had decided to do.
Is it, maybe it's on the second?
No, it's not, that's a septic design. All I think is he showed a pipe over to it. If you want more of a design, we can get it for you.
Well, I'm just thinking that if the stone is below, like, within this basin.
Well, they're gonna dig the basin up,
It's
they're gonna hit groundwater
Right,
anyway.
groundwater's right at 4.5, so
Yeah.
that won't work. But if they're filling it in with stone, I mean, it's still gonna be right on top of groundwater.
Oh, definitely.
I think
Bottom elevation is, all right.
Yeah, the bottom elevation's right at
Yeah.
groundwater. I think, don't you think they should give us a cross-section of that?
Well, they were supposed to also, weren't they supposed to give us, the, emergency, the cleanups?
He says that
Well, I thought they
it's
were gonna.
on there. I mean, he says that they'll be built with them, but. yeah.
I think he sort of gave up on that when he
Right.
realized that this was an alternative.
My understanding of this is it, the piping under the house is no longer. This is how they're addressing the
Oh,
building.
no.
Oh,
No.
no,
They're
no,
still
no.
piping.
They're still
No, they're
gonna
still
do
piping
this.
it under the house.
Well, they don't show that.
You're right, they don't show that anymore.
All right,
They don't show it, because they got,
I don't know what they're doing.
they don't have it on the,
'Cause they
Do you
used
wanna
to
see the
have-
old plan?
oh, they're not, they don't show it.
It's hard to tell anyhow on here, but.
see, he doesn't have the detail on the first floor. He
Right,
eliminated
he
on the,
eliminated it.
he eliminated the slab elevation.
Well,
on
it
the-
still has
on
a
the new-
slab elevation at 7.5.
No, but
Yeah,
he
but
used to
on the
show-
cross-section of the old plan, it shows the piping underneath.
Yeah,
and
There's
that.
no piping.
There is none on this, so there is no,
This is what they're doing with
so
the
they're
water.
gonna
The
pipe
water's
all their
all going over to
stormwater
here.
over to this now.
Is this
Yes.
big enough?
How do we know?
He didn't give us any calculations on it. All right.
I think that
Well-
before any work is done, they need to give us calculations
Yep.
on how much this can take, what the cross-section's gonna look like, and if they have to, if they're gonna revise to put it underneath again,
They have to,
they're gonna have to come back.
that's an
Okay,
amendment.
wait a minute, need calculations on capacity of,
Detention basin
yeah,
with a cross-section.
Well, and hopefully they understand what, that stone is gonna be, it's full of water.
and then,
It's gonna be in this video.
wait a minute, what was,
I want you cross-section of
thank you,
Where's it for?
the basin.
Well, not here, because it's, this is
Get the
mounted
bulkhead
here.
now. so.
Out on Pine Bank Road.
There's the tree you want him to save on the property line.
He did put it in.
Excellent.
Yep, he did show it. Shows it, but didn't give a dimension.
Right.
It's awesome.
And you wanted, he needs to submit more dewatering.
Yep.
This is basically gonna be a pit with stone.
Yep.
With water, I mean, water's right there, so. But,
I have no idea why they wouldn't do a vegetated,
are they gonna build something on top of it, maybe? Use it for like a patio or something?
No, that's not what they're saying.
No, I know, but,
Well, you could, it's a quote impervious surface. I mean, it will be, right?
only when it's full of water.
it'll always be full of water.
Well, it depends, I mean, the groundwater's at 4.5, if they're filling this in, what's the ground elevation here? It's like 7, what is it? It's hard to tell.
Well,
It's
there's,
kind of
where's my
Yeah,
contour
probably
right
around
there.
7.
7-ish, 6,
Yeah.
so,
Right. Yeah, that's a spot.
Okay.
anyhow.
Any spots here?
No, it's kind of tough because the last one ends up
Okay.
over here.
Maybe get clarification, I mean, I didn't think they were changing.
I,
They were supposed to
Jack
just.
was all over the place.
my impression,
Was,
what I
they were
left,
supplementing it.
what I left was they were gonna do that and have cleanouts,
Yeah, clean
but
ups.
in case things got clogged,
Yeah,
this
they
would
were
be
gonna
like an
have,
overflow.
yeah, an
That's not
overflow,
what
it's
this
good.
shows.
Supplement.
That's not what this shows, that's
So
right.
he's gonna have to
That wasn't my
clarify that.
understanding when he left. I understood he was doing something like this. that
Like
was
he
giving
did.
up on this. He just gave up. He was standing there
But
and
he had-
said,
he
now
didn't
that we
say
got
that,
it.
Tom.
But he didn't give us any calculations.
No, I understand he didn't give any calculations, but
Okay,
this is,
I'll
this is,
call him
I think
tomorrow.
we're, yeah.
But that's
And by
interesting, because
by
we
the size
closed
of
the
the house
hearing
and
and
the
it
size of the
completely
pit
changed.
with the stone, I think he's okay, but he should provide the calculations.
I mean, my impression is that we closed the hearing thinking one thing, and then he changed the plan after the hearing is closed.
Right.
Well, yeah, because he's.
The whole thing is different than what.
Yeah, because
Than
my
what I saw.
understanding is that this was just
He
gonna
was the only one who
supplement.
had the other.
What?
He had this. He thought it was gonna be this.
Oh,
The rest of us thought it was gonna be the
I
other.
thought it was just gonna supplement.
Yeah, it got kind of chaotic there, at
No,
the end
I-
between cleanouts.
I agree, but I think when he saw the whole thing, my understanding was he got down to the end, and he just said, I give up. Now that, I just had this inspiration that we had this area, we'll use it for this purpose, and we won't use the house. You guys have answers about that. We won't do it.
Well, we shouldn't have closed it then, until we knew, but,
Well, we did.
yep.
Is everybody satisfied we've given Jen enough direction?
I'll call him tomorrow,
Okay.
and we're just gonna have to review this under other business.
Yeah.
So,
And
so
if you look at
this
the
is
size
now-
of the building,
What was that?
We have to-
if you look
we
at
have
the
to
size
vote.
of the building,
Okay.
and the size of that pit, I think
All
he's
those
okay,
caveats.
and he's just gonna show it.
And what?
I think he's okay.
He
He's
just,
probably okay, we just can't tell what's
You
happening.
know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree, but I mean, by eyeball, you look at the size of that thing,
And just thinking about living in the house and having a stone wet pit in my yard.
I make a motion to
To each his own.
Yes. Motion to accept the order with the caveats as expressed.
Second.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. So moved. Sherwood Blake, 7 Beckles Road, Falmouth.
I don't think I'm on this one.
This was the septic upgrade. Kevin Clark's septic upgrade.
Can you
It was very straight,
make sure I'm not?
oh, Michelle, you're on this one.
Ah, it's weird, I don't have
Mike,
plans.
Betsy, Tom, Mario, Michelle.
It wasn't a big issue, but we needed to
Very-
wait for the natural heritage.
Natural
that's fine.
heritage
All right.
one. It was
We've
a
already
straightforward septic upgrade.
And did we receive
Yes, we did,
motion
and
to,
there is no take.
motion to accept the order as discussed?
Second.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. 282 Quistit Avenue Nominee Trust. This will be a neat project.
This was the invasive removal and restoration of that knoll area along the Bernstein property.
And the only caveat here is Mike wants the view from the knoll. Don't you?
Mike, did you battle your way to the knoll?
I did, and I don't know if I got there or not.
Well, if you didn't have a view, I guess you didn't get there.
If you didn't know, then you didn't get there.
Well, I didn't fall off into the ocean.
I'll tell you, that project today out by Horns Pond,
Community in that area.
what I was looking for was poison ivy.
So,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any special basically they've
No, it's what they
detailed a
had their
very,
plan.
good land management plan on how they're gonna do that and how they're gonna monitor it, and we'll just base the, order off of that.
Right.
Because they're gonna be monitoring it, I think, on the same schedule as the original project over
Right.
there.
Right. That's a project I would like to visit at some point, just to see myself how things are going. That was a nice presentation they gave last year, but
Everybody but Tom.
Motion to accept order as discussed.
could I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
That's my agenda.
Any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Well, we-
I think we'll wait till next week to do the, I mean,
If-
because other people aren't here.
Just because we're on, if I may,
Yeah.
if there's no other business?
Yeah, well, there is other business.
Okay, never
You're
mind.
on.
No. I just wanted to give a shout out to Falmouth Hospital and the tremendous staff at the maternity ward for my new grandson as of Tuesday morning. It's a tremendous asset in this community that, just stellar people, and they really know how to greet people into the world.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Is he planning to be on the Conservation Commission in 25
Doesn't
years?
know it yet, but yes.
We'll figure that out when the time comes.
All right.
Motion to
Okay.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.